Hello fellow collectors, Frank here, back with another TTM Success video. TTM standing for Through the Mail Success Autographs. I have 4 in the box today. Let's get right at it here. First to the box here, we have a 1-for-1 in 10 days, no fee, out of Tampa, St. Petersburg, Florida. We have Mr. Gary Peters. Harry Peters here with some questions answered. I'll get to those. Looking nice here. For the Red Sox with blue ink on this 1970 Topps. We have Mr. Gary Charles Peters, born April 21st, 1937 in Grove City, Pennsylvania. He's 83 years young. He grew up nearby in Mercer, Pennsylvania. Mr. Peters was a left-handed, mostly start and pitch that played 14 seasons in the majors, mostly with the Chicago White Sox from 59 to 69, then with the home team, my home team, Boston Red Sox, 1970 to 1972. So after a slow start for Mr. Peters in his major league career, with a brief call-up from the minors for 4 seasons, Peter became what he later described himself as a overnight sensation. In 1963. In 63, he won the American League Rookie of the Year with 19 wins, 8 losses, and league lead in 2.33 ERA. And during that season, he won 11 consecutive decisions in July and August, set a new rookie record for AL pitchers. However, Peters' success was nothing but overnight. Peters, a converted first baseman, had worked very hard for several years in the minors to make the club in 63, at the age of 26. He had some very successful years in the 60s with the White Sox. In 64, he led the league in wins with 20 and got his first All-Star appearance first of 2, though he did not play in the game. He led he had an ERA for the second time in 1966, posting a 1.98 ERA, and he was selected to another All-Star game in 1967, this time getting his chance to pitch in the All-Star game. Pitched 3 perfect innings for the AL, striking out 4 pretty good hitters: Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, Orlando Cepeda, and Dick Allen. By the time he was playing with my home team, the Red Sox, in 70 at 33, his production had dipped a bit, but he had 2 pretty decent seasons with the Red Sox, winning 16 and 14 games in 70 and 71, with ERAs around 4. In 71, along with starting, he was employed by manager Eddie Cosco in a different role beyond his pitching. He was employed quite a bit as a pinch hitter. He was a good hitter throughout his career, and during that 1971 season, for the Red Sox, he batted .271 with 3 homers and 19 RBIs in 96 at-bats. And he was pretty decent, like I said, throughout his career. He was a career .222 hitter with 19 home runs on 102 RBIs and 807 career at-bats. As a pitcher for his career, he won 124, lost 103, with a 3.25 ERA. He was a good control pitcher. He walked just 706 and struck out 1,420 in 2,081 innings pitched. So he did answer a few questions for me, which I always do appreciate. So I asked him, who was your favorite teammate? And that would be Jim Landis, and that would have been with the White Sox. The next question I asked there, who was the toughest batter he had success against? The great Mickey Mantle, the Mick, versus the Mick, and I'll pop up some stats there, career stats, where Mick was a career 200 hitter against Peters, and as you see there, the Mick struck out 12 times and 55 at-bats against Peters. And the last one I asked, what was your most memorable game? He had a 1-hitter versus the Orioles in 1964. And I looked it up, but it was actually in 1963. So on Monday, July 15th, 1963, at Comiskey Park versus the Baltimore Orioles, Peters pitched a near-perfect gem The only base running allowed was a single smacked up the middle on a high fastball by the Orioles starting pitcher Robin Robinson III. Peters struck out 13. He had a 3-ball count on only 3 batters, and only 2 flyers were made made towards White Sox outfielders. White Sox second baseman Nellie Falk joked with his teammate in the clubhouse after the game, regarding the hit from Roberts. He said, "I fouled up your no-hitter. I wasn't playing Roberts right." So that was his highlight, and is one of the big highlights in his career. So I thank you very much, Mr. Peters. I do quite appreciate it. Next in the box here, we have a 3 for 2 in 10 days. No fee out of Phoenix, Arizona. We have Mr. Doug Jones on this 1988 Flair. Shout out to Baseball Fan 75. On this 1993 Top Stadium Club, and he threw him his own card with the A's as well, which is kind of like a testimonial card. I'll show you that in the back. You're welcome to pause and read that if you would like. So he just talking about his journey with his faith and how that helped him throughout his career. Here we have Douglas Reed Jones, born June 24th, 1957 in Covina, California. He's 63. Jones was a 6'3", mainly closer pitcher who played 16 seasons in the majors in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s with the Milwaukee Brewers, Cleveland Indians, Houston Astros, Philadelphia Phillies, Baltimore Orioles, Chicago Cubs, and Oakland Athletics. He was selected in the 3rd round of the 1978 MLB draft by the Brewers and spent 7 years in the Brewers minor league system. He made his major league debut at the age of 24 during a Friday afternoon game on Friday, April 9th, 1982 with the Brewers versus the Toronto Blue Jays at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. Finishing the game in a 15-4 blowout for the Brewers, he pitched 1 shutout inning, getting Tony Johnson to ground out to third, the number 3 hitter Lloyd Mosley to pop up to third, and Willie Upshaw to ground out to first. He had 3 more appearances for the Brewers that April, but did not see the majors again until the age of 29 in September 1986 with the Cleveland Indians. With the Indians, Jones emerged as a top-notch reliever. Jones, a changeup specialist, he was known for keeping hitters off balance by throwing extremely slow pitches. He threw a two-seam fastball that topped out in the low to mid-80s and a knuckle curve on occasion. Somebody once called him the Sultan of Slow. He tied major league hitters up in knots with changeups that were slow, and slowest. He became the Indians' full-time closer by 1988, breaking the Indians' record for saves in the season with 37 in 88. Between 88 and 94, he made 5 All-Star appearances with the AL as a member of the Indians 3 times, with the NL with the Astros in 92, with the Phillies in the strike-shortened season of 94. He was traded from the Astros to Philly in the off-season with Jeff Juden for closer Mitch Williams. After a 1-year stint with the Orioles in 95, he signed with the Cubs for the 96 season, but was relieved by the Cubs in mid-June, looking like he was past his prime at 39 years old. So then he signed back where he started, with the Brewers 13 days later, pitching well the rest of the season in the bullpen. Then in 1997, at the age of 41 years old, the Jones of old, returned. He posted a 2.02 ERA with 36 saves and pitched an immaculate inning, a perfect inning, earning a save during a late afternoon game on Tuesday, September 23rd, 1997, versus the Kansas City Royals. Coming in with a 7-4 lead for the Brewers. On 9 pitches, he struck out Johnny Damon swinging, Scott Cooper swinging, and Rod Myers looking. Jones was traded back to the Indians during the 98 season. He finished with the A's in 99 and 2000. For his career, he had a career 69 wins, 79 losses, posted a 3.03 ERA with 303 career saves, which is 28th all-time on the all-time save leaders list. Lots of great closers there in the Hall, in my opinion. Jones belongs in the Hall of Fame as well. What do you think? So thank you very, very much, Mr. Jones. I really do appreciate it. Next in the box here, we got a 2-for-1 in 10 days, no fee, out of North Texas, Dallas, Texas. We have Mr. Lee Richard, Lee BB Richard, on this 1976 Topps, and he signed the index card and answered a few questions. So, thank you very much, Mr. Richard. This is Lee Edward Beebe. His nickname is Richard. He was born September 18, 1948 in Lafayette, Louisiana. He's 72 years young. Mr. Richard was a speedy right-handed hitting, throwing infielder, professional pinch runner that played parts of 5 seasons in the majors with the Chicago White Sox and the St. Louis Cardinals. Lee, a fastball pitcher at Lafayette High School, was nicknamed BB by his teammates. He was drafted in the first round 6th pick overall by the Chicago White Sox in the 1970 MLB draft out of Southern University A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Richard was a very fast base runner. However, he could neither hit or field very well. The White Sox tried him at shortstop, second base, and outfield, yet his fielding was so erratic that White Sox announcer Harry Caray called him the juggler. And during one game, when he made 2 errors, he said, "Richard just picked up a hot dog wrapper. It's the first thing we picked up all night." But either way, he did contribute quite a bit to the club with his speed. That's what his main role was. He rounded out his White Sox career in '75, and he was traded to the Cardinals for the '76 season. He was a career .209 hitter with 103 hits and 12 stolen bases. And he did answer a few questions which I quite appreciate quite a bit, and he did really kind of go in detail as well, which I love that. I asked him who his favorite teammate was, so he named off a few people here. We got Mr. Dick Allen, rest in peace, passed away last month. Lou Brock, rest in peace. George Orta and Wilbur Woods, saw for the White Sox. And Brock is with the Cardinals. The rest were with the White Sox. I asked him what his most memorable game was, scoring from second on a fly ball to beat the A's in Chicago. So that's pretty good there. Do you have any hobbies? What do you enjoy doing nowadays? I don't know what it says here. I don't know if I can read that there. Something service. So he likes watching westerns. He recorded movies. He's a big TV fan. So thank you so much, Mr. Richard. I really do appreciate it. Quite nice. Next in the box here, we got a 1-for-1 in 51 days, no fee, out of North Texas, Dallas, Texas. We have Mr. Ray Kroon on this 1954 Topps reprint, black ink, and a few questions he answered himself. I will get to that. We got Raymond Hayes Kroon, born August 7th, 1931 in Memphis, Tennessee. He is 89 years young. Mr. Kroon was a right-handed throwing pitcher that played parts of 5 seasons in the majors, 54 to 58 with the Milwaukee Braves and the New York, then San Francisco Giants. Playing baseball at Christian Brothers High School and an American Legion Ball in Memphis, Tennessee in the late 1940s, Kroon had a reputation of being one of the best pitchers in Memphis. Pitching for Lou Chandler, coached both teams, Kroon led the American Legion team to 3 championships. As a 15-year-old pitcher, he pitched the title game of the American Regional in North Carolina. It ran 18 innings, and Kroon no-hit the opposition from the 6th inning through the 16th, but lost. Kroon later joked Lou would have been in prison nowadays for abusing kids. Kroon signed with the Boston Braves one day after graduating from Christian Brothers High School in 1949. He worked mostly as a starter throughout his minor league career. In 1953, with the lead league in 19 wins, a career best 2.53 ERA and 253 innings pitched, Kroon and 19-year-old second baseman Hank Aaron led the Jacksonville Braves to the best regular season record in the South Atlantic League. Rest in peace, Hank Aaron. We're losing so many of your greats these years, so just want to say that. Just pause for just a second. That's cool. They led that Jacksonville Braves team to the best record. Kroon won 2 games in the playoff, included a 14-inning complete game masterpiece over the Savannah Indians. Imagine that, 14 innings pitched, but lost the league championship. Couldn't imagine that nowadays. Kroon debuted with the big league Braves in 1954. He made his major league debut at Crosley Field in Cincinnati on Tuesday, April 13, 1954, pitching 2/3 shutout innings in relief in a 9-8 win over the Reds. His first start came on Sunday, May 23rd, 1954 at Wrigley Field versus the Cubs, where he pitched a 10-inning complete game, allowing 2 runs, 7 hits, walking 4 and striking out 7 for a 4-2 Braves win. Though he pitched a few decent seasons in 1955 and 1956 with the Braves, winning 10 games in 55 and 11 games in 56 with a 3.46 and 3.87 ERAs respectively, Kroon had a hard time fitting into one of the strongest pitching staffs in baseball, which included the likes of future Hall of Famer, left-handed ace Warren Spahn, 56 ERA king Lou Burdett, 18-game winner in 56 Bob Bull, and 2-time All-Star Gene Conley. 25-year-old Kroon was traded away during the Braves' historic World Series winning 1957 season in June with Danny O'Connell and Bobby Thompson for 34-year-old future Hall of Famer second baseman Red Shootinist, which was a source of big disappointment for Kroon. He enjoyed playing in Milwaukee. He did not fit in well with the Giants, and after playing his final major league season with the San Francisco Giants in 58, he had a stint in the minors with the Detroit Tigers and Kansas City Athletics before hanging up his cleats after the 60 season. He was a career 30 wins and 30 losses with a 3.87 ERA. Kroon stayed in baseball after he retired, employed as a successful scout for decades. At the Major League Winter Meeting in 2006, Kroon was named the Midwest Scout of the Year. And got a few questions here he answered for me, which I do appreciate quite a bit. Did not answer the first question, who was your favorite teammate, but he did answer the next two. Ask him who was the toughest batter you had success against, and that would be Stan the Man Musial, and I'll pop up some stats against him. So Stan was hit 269 versus Kroon. Considering that Stan was a 331 career hitter, I say that was pretty good. And do you have any hobbies? If so, what do you like to do? He likes to golf. So thank you very much. So thank you very much, Mr. Gary Peters, Mr. Doug Jones, Mr. Lee Richard, and Mr. Ray Kroon. I do appreciate it much. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. I have a few coming here, and I know it's been kind of slow for some. Hasn't been as quick as I would like it to be myself, but I'm starting to get some more out there. So I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. I'm recording this on Saturday, January 23rd, so take care. God bless. Peace.
Let's do it again. Better this time. All right, Nancy. Let me hear you. Take me out to the ballgame. Take me out to the club. Buy me some peanuts, some cracker jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, it's you. Root for the White Sox if they it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out at the old